All right, to discuss Kaunda's legacy, I'm joined by political analyst Cholwe Chibomba. Thank you so much for your time. Of course, Kenneth Kaunda was Zambia's founding president and liberation hero. How is he being remembered at home?
Well, right now, the country is still taking in the news, and it's a very sad day for us. To remember his legacy, firstly, with what happens in Africa, Kaunda's legacy is going to remember that when we changed presidents, it was a smooth transition of power, and you don't get that a lot in many African countries. He avoided civil tribal wars, and Zambia is one of the few countries in Africa where we've had a transition of power, and we've had six presidents.
Of course, the country will have a 21-day mourning period. What does this mean in terms of how he'll be remembered and how his life and legacy will be celebrated?
Well, one of the main things that he also fought aggressively against was HIV and AIDS, and this is after his son had passed away, Masuzio. And for us as Zambians, it's going to be a very difficult time because we're not going to give him the state funeral he deserves, obviously because of COVID restrictions and what's going on in the country. Yesterday, again, some restrictions and changes were also announced by the government. So this is going to be a difficult time for us.
So his fight to liberate Zambia was, of course, a long one, with the first two political parties he was part of failing to take off. But then, of course, the United National Independent Party was formed while he was in prison. And then history took a turn, obviously for the better. Talk to me about his struggle for freedom.
Well, the struggle for freedom was something that had a domino theory in Africa. And Kaunda was leading that movement. And like other countries such as South Africa, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, they benefited from Kaunda's leadership. And as a whole, he was fighting for the liberation of most African countries. And that is something that lots of people are grateful for. There were so many freedom fighters that were also harbored in Zambia. The likes of the current president of Zimbabwe, they used to live here. The likes of Thabo Mbeki, they used to live here. So Zambia is another home for other countries, citizens of other countries. And for that, we are grateful because without people like Kaunda, we could still be in colonial days up to today.
Yeah, and of course, he was helping the ANC in South Africa a lot in terms of fighting apartheid in this country. So his passion to have a free Africa is something that was obviously very real. It was something where we saw him risking, economic sanctions on Zambia, but he was willing to do it because he believes so much in democracy across Africa.
Yes, and as a fighter for democracy, our motto as a country, which means so much to us, is one Zambia, one nation. And this is where the beginning of the liberation of Africa began. This is where Kenneth Kaunda fought for other countries. This is where other countries benefited from the support from Zambia and Zambians.
All right, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it. Political analyst Cholwe Chibomba.